Hey there guys, welcome back to Coders Integrity. This video is the second part of UI designing in Android Studio. I hope you have already seen our first part of this video. If not, then go to our channel and check it out. Now let's get started with today's video. Now we will be designing our dashboard page. For that we need to add these icons first, and then this will be the customer name string and the another line. So first let's add the strings into the strings.xml and another string which will be the line. So let's create the dashboard activity. So right click on the layout, select the new activity and empty activity. Let's rename it with the dashboard and say finish. And again let's add the background. Fine. Now we will add the icons. As you can see over here, there is the menu icon and the card icon. So let's take an image view with layout say 30 dp by 30 dp, and let's add the icon. So the name of icon is menu from drawable. Yeah. Now let's adjust the constraints properly, and in attributes let's set the horizontal and vertical bias to 0, and the top margin will be 30 and also the left margin will be 30. Similarly, let's add the another icon which is the card icon. So add the constraints. Let's set the vertical bias to 0 and the horizontal bias to 100, and let's change the right hand side margin to 30 and also the top margin to 30 as well. So right hand side layout will go to this first icon, and let's adjust it. Now we will take a text view which is the customer name, margins, the top margin, vertical bias and horizontal bias to 0. Left hand side margin will be 30, and let's set the top margin to say 25. Fine. Let's add the another text view. So this is going to be the line which we have added into the strings.xml. And let's add the margins. So left hand side margin will be 30 and top margin will be 5. Good. Now as you can see in the XD file, here we have the search box. So we will add the search box with the edit text option, so customer can search for the fruits, and also we will add this icons. So for that, in Android Studio we are going to add the relative layout. So say relative layout with width say 350 dp by height 50 dp. Now for this search box we are going to create the another custom button. So let's go to the drawable and create a new resource file, search box. Change the selector to shape rectangle, and the color will be light gray for the search box. And now let's add the corners, say 15 dp. Now let's go to the dashboard and let's add the background to the search box. So say background search box. Now let's add the constraints. And top margin will be 25. Good. Now into this relative layout, we will add the edit text option. And the hint for the edit text will be search your favorite truths, adjust the constraints, now let's add the search icon. So inside the relative layout, let's add the image view, say 25 dp by 25 dp. And let's add the search icon, so search from drawable. Cool. Now we will add the top settings option where we are going to display the items, and also we will add the see all button. Now let's get out of the relative layout and let's take the another text view. So say text view. Let's add the text, top settings. Let's add the margins. So top margin will be again 25 and left margin will be 30. And then let's add the another text view for see all option. Then set the top margin to 25. Let's adjust it like this. Now as you can see in this XD file, here we have added the list of items. So in Android Studio, to add the list of items, we are going to use the recycler view in which the developer will add the list of items. So to add the recycler view, first we need to download the recycler view from the design section. So go to the design section and in the palette search for the recycler view and then click on this download button and say OK. So once it is downloaded, let's add it into our project. So let's take a recycler view. So to add the recycler view, choose the recycler view.widget. So let's take a recycler view with say width 350 dp by height say 150 dp. Now let's adjust it. And let's add the top margin, say 15. So inside this recycler view, we can add the list of items while developing the actual application. So for now we will just let it be like this. Then now let's add the number of shops available near us. So let's take a text view again and let's add the text saying near you. And let's adjust the constraints. Again, the top margin will be 25 and the left side margin will be 30. Likewise, and let's add the another text view which will be showing the number of shops available around us. And first let's add the string for the number of shops. So let's add the text which is shops. Let's add the constraints. Cool. Now let's take the another recycler view for the list of shops. So let's take a recycler view again. 350 dp by height say 150 dp. Let's set the top margin to 15. So we are done with our dashboard page. So the next page we are going to design is the food detail page. So let's take the another activity, the empty activity, and let's rename it with the details and click on finish. So for our detailed page, first we will add these two icons for back button and the cart button. Then we will add the image of orange. So let's first take the image icon, say 30 dp by 30 dp. Add the back icon and let's add the margins. So go to the constraints and let's add the left side margin 30 and also the top margin to 30. Similarly, let's add the another image view and let's add the cart image again. Let's change the width to say 35 dp and also height to 35 dp. And let's adjust the margin. So let's set the horizontal bias to 100%, the vertical to 0, then add the top margin 30 and the right hand side margin 30 again. Cool. Now we will add the image of oranges. So for that, let's take the image view again. Say size 300 dp by 250 dp, and add the image of orange from the drawable. So in attributes, let's add the top margin 5. And now next we will add the title and the weight and the description of the image. So let's go to the string.xml and let's add the strings. Let's add the title of the image. Then the string is, let's say, weight. And then we will add the description. So let's say description. And from Adobe XD, let's copy this text and let's paste it over here likewise. Now let's go to the detail XML and let's take the text view and let's add the text, which is the item 1. Now let's add the constraints and the margins. So let's set the top margin to say 5. Left margin will be 30. Let's add the another text view, which will be the weight. So add the weight string. And let's adjust the margins. Left margin will be 30 again. Now let's add the description. And add the description text. Let's change the width to say 350 dp. And let's add the constraints. So again the left margin will be 30 and top margin will be 15, I guess. Fine. Now we will add this delivery option. So let's take the image view. Say 45 by 35 dp. And let's add the delivery truck icon. So delivery from the drawable. And let's add the margins. So top margin will be 25 again, and left hand side margin will be 30. Now let's add the text view again for the time. Say wrap content, and let's add the text saying delivery time. And let's add string of the time into the strings.xml. So and let's take the another text view. Time string. Cool. Now let's add the price, and this will be the two buttons to add the number of items or to just subtract the number of items you have selected. And this will be the edit text, as it will be showing the number of items you have selected, and also you can edit it. So first let's take the text view for price. So in strings.xml, let's add the price first, and in detail page let's add the width, which will be the wrap content, and the height will be wrap content again. Then let's add the text, which is price. And let's add the margin. So top margin will be 25 and left side margin will be 30, or maybe the top margin will be, say, 35. Cool. Now let's add the button. So we will be needing the round button just like this to add the number of items. So let's take a button with width, say 30 dp by 30 dp, and let's add the text, which will be the plus sign. Now we need to change this button size to circle. So let's create the another custom button for the number of items. To add new drawable resource file, say custom button, and say OK, and change this to shape, oval, and let's add the color. So let's add the background of custom button we have created. So let's adjust this button. Let's add the top margin 20, and let's create the another button similar to this plus button. So copy this code and just change this plus sign to minus sign. Delete the constraint and add the new constraints. And let's set the top margin to say 10. Then to display the number of items or to insert the number of items, let's take the edit text and then let's add the hint, say 1. Now let's adjust the constraints. Let's set the top margin to 25. Now last we need to add this button, so let's again create another custom button. So let's say the new resource file, say cart button, change the selector to shape will be rectangle. Now let's add the solid color, add the corner radius, say 15 dp. Now let's add the button with width say 250 dp by height 50 dp, and let's add the text, say add to cart, and let's give it a background of the custom button we have created, so say cart button, and yeah, and let's add the constraints. And yeah, we are also done with our detail page. Let's make the little adjustments. So let's change the margins of this horizontal bias for these buttons from 50 to say 70. Similarly for this, and let's change the top margin from 20 to say 10, and for this as well, let's change it from 35 to say 25, and let's change the size of this text. Let's make it a little bigger, so the text size is 25, so let's make it 30. And let's adjust the margins of this text from top margin say 20, from 25. So as you can see, we are all done with our UI designing. Now what we will do, we will add the action to these buttons. So whenever I click this button, it will take us to another activity. So for that we need to add the code into the Kotlin file. So first let's close all these files we have opened. Now let's open the main activity Kotlin file and let's add the code over here. So for the startup page, which is our main activity page, I need to add the action to this button. So if I click on this button, it will take me to login activity. So first let's add the ID to this button. So let's say ID, say next, and let's go to the main activity and let's add the code for it. So let's create the button first. Say find with by ID, and let's add the button over here. In this bracket, let's add the ID of your button. So say r.id. The ID of the button is next from our XML file. Now let's set the on-click listener to this button. So say button.set on-click listener and open the curly braces. In that, let's add the intent. So in this bracket of intent, here we are going to give the name of the activity which we want to visit when we click the button. So say this, and let's add the name of the activity. So I want to visit the login page when we click on the next button. So say login as Java and say start activity and call the intent. So similarly for even other activities, we will be adding the same code. So let's copy this code and let's open the login page, the login activity.xml. So for login page, we need to add the action to this button. Let's first change this text from next to sign in, as this is the sign in button. Fine, and let's give it the ID, the sign in. Fine. Now let's open the login, and inside this here let's paste the code, and let's change this button ID from next to sign in, and I want to display the dashboard when we click on the sign in button, so change this login to dashboard. Now similarly for dashboard, say image view 2, and now let's open the dashboard.kt and let's paste the code. Let's change it from button to say image view, and let's add the image view over here. The ID for the image view was image view 2, and I want to display the details page. And similarly for details page, image view 3, so let's open the details.kotlin file and let's paste the code, and let's change this button to image view, and the ID will be image view 3, and I want to display the dashboard page again, so this will be the dashboard. So we are all done with our designing. So let's build this UI and let's see how our output will look like. So this is the output of our UI which we have created. So if I click on this button, here it is showing the sign in page. Now let's sign in and let's see how our dashboard is looking. And if I click on this menu option, as you can see, we can see this detail page which we have created. So yeah, we are all done with our designing and you have seen the output. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.